They been on their ass, bitch, I'm on the rail. I wrap it, I bag it, I pack it for sale. Got feeling on speed out, I hit me to chill. I give it a thrill, I put it on film. Niggas facade, get applaud, that ain't real. Come to my section and flex, we can tell. I got a show and she dipping them nails. I'm flipping my L's, I know they can tell. I did it too major, they hit me for favors. Been him since the cable was cut in the cradle. What's up, only right that I do it. Colossal until I'm a boss, so they want me to fail. Look, we prevail. Tell them to point out who said it, they run it. Bitch, I'm on your tail. Know that they talking, they telling them tales. Just know how to tell, that shit for the sale.
Honestly, I know it's hard to believe, but you have to trust me. It's got maximum taste and zero sugar.
Stop playing games, wooden boy.
No, I'm a real boy.
Pepsi Max. Maximum taste, zero sugar. Try and believe.
What do you see here? Maybe history, or maybe it's the future.
Amarti mi consola. Amami ancora. Fallo dolcemente. Un anno mezzo, un'ora.
Tonali plug-in hybrid, a new charge of sportiness.
Good evening, everybody. How are you all doing? Mr. Flynn back at it again for Season 3 of Ultimate Masters. And joining me once again for this season is Mike. Mike, how you doing? Are you excited for today?
I am doing absolutely fantastic. Pleasure to be here. Pleasure to come back once again to join you in the commentary box. And honestly, what a qualifying night we have in store for you. And I can't lie, I am so eager to get into it, so eager, pumped. Let's go into it. Let's have a cracking qualifying session. I want to see some competition. I want to see who's going to be making it into Tier 1 this season.
Exactly, and obviously no assists. That's going to be the best bit about it. No racing line, no braking assist, no nothing like that. Just pure, no assists. Who would be the fastest team? We'll find out. We are being given the green light to obviously get into the lobby and get going. We're just obviously waiting on a few drivers to ready up so we can crack on. But no, 2 lobbies today. We've got one at 8 o'clock today and then one at 8:30. Hopefully, if we're on time and no issues evolve around that. But an 18-minute qualifying session around Abu Dhabi. Any dibs yet to Mike? Any favoritism on any team that might be seeming to get through straight away, maybe?
I mean, it's very difficult to bet against. Obviously, CPI, for example, obviously they won last season. Of course, we have ET8 as well, a very, very capable team. Obviously, believe we have Outplayed as well, OP. So, I mean, like, it's going to be some incredible teams that are going to be taking part in this, and definitely going to be an intriguing one here tonight.
Indeed, it will be. But anyways, then, we're in the lobby. So without further ado, let's move over to the exciting screen, the main screen of the event today. And, yeah, so obviously 12 cars on the grid because obviously teams taking part in these sessions. So it's all about, what did I say? It's all about the quickest lap time, isn't it, Mike? It's all about the quickest, the best, what the best you can do. It doesn't matter what position you're in, just the best lap time you can do. And hopefully that should see you qualify, fingers crossed, for this season.
Yeah, absolutely. And all these guys right now, obviously, they know they have to put down the best times possible because there is a second lobby and they have to be wary of the teams in that second lobby. So it's not like what's called in normal qualifying where you're going to afford to not hit your banker early on. You need to hit your banker immediately because you'd rather have it on the board than end up needing it at the end of the session, getting invalidation, and of course running out of time at the end. But we're starting to get the first couple of cars out on track, so who shall we jump on board with first?
That is a very, I'd say, a hard one, because obviously there's a lot of cars leaving the track, so it's a bit difficult to pick which driver to go on board with. I guess we'll go on board with Kgat in that Williams Racing livery at the moment. And how would they perform today? It's actually got a bit of a fight at the back of the pack, and it was the Red Bull, the Williams, and the Mercedes getting involved with a fight there. But I don't know. We're going to see a lot of swaps out here, actually, as we've got the Aston Martin going around the Williams, actually, to succeed the front of the pack, and bits and bobs like that. But yeah, lots of cars on the grids. Let's wait and see what they can do, as someone's actually taken out a braking board, so that could confuse a few drivers and hopefully not struggle a few drivers. But you never know. If you break a braking board, that's your braking zone gone. So now you've got to use your head. You got to think, where do I brake on the track to stop the car in time, not lock up, and spin around. But yeah, do you want to take us on board with the Aston Martin? I believe its name is
Janel.
Coming around the final couple of corners then?
Yep, so we got Janel here for Kazan Racing coming through the final sector now. But I guess underway around this 5.2 kilometer circuit, of course, was reprofiled a few years ago. Of course, a couple of corners being taken out, especially in that middle and final sector. And now we're going to be getting underway down in towards turn number 1 for Janel. Approaching as a big snap of the rear for Janel. And I think, honestly, that's probably his lap over and done with before it's even started.
I would say so. So let's turn our eyes to Lewis then. But it does seem the Aston Martin is still going ahead with his lap. But obviously Lewis, not having that major mistake at turn 1, has gone purple in sector 1. A good exit there. And now DRS are wide open on the back straight. And they might benefit, maybe, a little bit of a toe. Maybe, just maybe, but they seem to be a little bit too far back. We're now into the tricky part of this little left and right-hander chicane, where you could get it all wrong if you turn in too early or you turn in late and it just spins your car around, or you bottom out. It just, yeah, gets absolutely crazy. But right about now, in Sector 2, about to enter Sector 3, the final sector of the track, and so far, he's managed to keep it on the track, which I guess is the goodest part about it, Mike. Keeping it on the track and not off the track.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's exactly what you need to do. You need to make sure that you are setting a valid lap early on, because as I mentioned, you want to get that lap on the board just in case things don't go your way in qualifying. Obviously, Janel had that big snap in turn 1, so he knows that he's got a lot of time there. As he crosses the line, that's a 22.6. We're going to see that time get beaten by Lewis with a 22.1. We got Kgat to the line, 21.8 for the CPI driver.
That's not too bad, and saying that, his teammate goes to P2 at 122.0, and then actually, never mind, I believe it's the Mercedes, a 121.5. That is pretty impressive, and then we've got Covers now coming across the line, a 121.4. So drivers finding a lot of lap time out there, and managing to put it together. As the Alpine crosses the line, it's a 121.9. So mega lap times coming in. Of course, this isn't obviously setting the grid for the race. It's just obviously a session where drivers need to do their fastest laps to compete in the season. And at the end of the results, VJ will let us know what is going on with the results, and he'll let us know, and we'll tell you the winners after everything is done and dusted. But yeah, like you say, a few drivers backing off of their lap times and probably going for another lap, would you say? To get comfortable?
Well, I mean, I was just on board with GT10 Boyo Lulu, and he coming into turn number 6, of course, the chicane in the middle sector. He just went straight into the back of Janel, who was obviously on a cooldown lap after completing a lap, and that's a broken front wing for the GT10 driver. Oh,
that's definitely not ideal. If you're trying to set quick lap times, you don't want to be getting wing damage, because that will really hinder your tyre wear and chances of getting a quick lap time in. Looking elsewhere, I believe drivers are just coming back into the pit lane to get another fresh set of tyres on and prepare for another lap around Abu Dhabi. What a lovely track, may I say, to do a lovely 18-minute qualifying session at. But I don't believe anyone's on a lap, because I know Ryder was on a lap, but they have invalidated in the Haas. So that's definitely them not able to get a lap time on board. It was a 121.5, so it would have put them near the top 3, which isn't too bad. That is pretty impressive. But we wait to see who leaves and who blinks first.
Yeah, of course, looking at the top 4 right now. So we have OP Covers currently leading the way with a 21.4. Then we have the WOR driver of Luke Thomason in P2 with a 21.5. CPI's K Gakowski in P3 with a 21.8. And then, of course, we've got GT10 Q Quad. I'm absolutely going to butcher that name. Q Quads, maybe, as coming through in P4 currently with a 21.9. They're the only 4 drivers in the 121s right now. As Mikola has actually left the session. He's currently in P5 with a 22 flat, of course, for CPI. And of course, we got the first of the EXT drivers. Currently, Lewis on a 22.1. WOR Yannick in P7 with a 22.2. And 22.6 for the Kazin Racing driver of Yanel with a 22.6. And of course, a 24.3 for his teammate, George Ansel. I believe, yeah, George Ansel currently in P9 with a 24.3. And of course, 3 drivers yet to set at that time. OP Rider, EXT Nam, and of course, GT10 Boyolulu.
Oh, there you have it. That is your grid so far. Only 3 drivers yet to set a lap time. But on board with EXT Nam in the Red Bull right now. Hasn't set a lap yet, but they're on their outlap and they're going to be starting a lap very, very shortly. So I'm going to get ready to hopefully not get confused of where he is on the track, and hopefully able to stay with him and, like I said, not get confused, because that would be a little bit, what do I say, embarrassing. So let's see how he gets on the exit and the start and finish down to turn 1 now. He wants to take a sweeping left-hander in and not try and take too much curb and not try and run too wide. And now into this, you could say, almost flat-out S section, because if you take too much curb once again, your back end or rear end is just going to, not play it safe and just going to lose it completely. Into the hairpin now on the exit there down to the back straight with DRS enabled. Not looking too bad. And they have gone purple in Sector 1. Does that mean, Mike, they're pushing the limits?
That I believe the purple sector is just for him personally, because he's yet to set a lap time so far. As big traffic in the chicane. Nam has to back out of his lap with it, and honestly, there was a Mercedes involved in that. There was a Red Bull involved with that. So that's Lewis, and of course, I believe what's called Luke Thomason.
Damn, well, traffic getting in the way, not ideal, but obviously it does happen with in these intense qualifying sessions. Running on board with GT10 Boyer, hopefully that's how you say the name. Currently down in P12, yet to set a lap time. Their first sector is a 17.2. That's not too bad. That's a very good, decent first sector. But now on the exit of 5, down to turn number 6, DRS is enabled and probably smashing that ERS button flat out in the highest gear possible. You want to do a bit of a trail braking out into the chicane, and then on the exit of 7 you want to nail it perfectly, which he has done right there. That was a lovely exit, may I say. That was absolutely fantastic. Now DRS once again down to turn number 9, the little left hairpin section here as Covers goes to the top of the board with a 121.3. That's not a bad lap time there. It's about that's a pretty decent gap from 1 to 2nd at the moment. But let's not count GT10 out at the moment, and let's see what kind of competition they could cause to the grid. So in the tricky section of Sector 3 now, coming to the final couple of corners of 15, and now it's going to be 16, and he's about to cross the line. What's it going to be? Possibly a 121, or maybe a 122. It is a 122.093, puts him P6. And
Ryder on a flyer right now as he's coming to the line. Ryder coming to the line. 21.7 goes P2 right now for OP.
I think that they're showing some incredible pace the Haas crew are right now. So, you know, let's see. Can anyone go faster? That's what we want to see, Mike. Is anyone able to go faster than a potentially a 121.3? Do you think? Does anybody have it in them?
Well, I mean, it's going to be very interesting because we've also got the WOR drivers, you've got the CPI drivers. EXT Lewis pops up into P5 there, so now all drivers have a lap time on the board. Of course, EXT Nam, after getting held up on his lap, is of course going to have to go again, but we have got times on the board from every single team now, and honestly, Luke Thomason improved. He did a 21.4. He's still just over a 10th off covers. I think WR, CPI, and OP potentially are three teams that are going to be looking to try and secure it right here on this run.
I would say so myself, because they are obviously they're looking very, very competitive. But obviously time will wait and time will tell in a few moments' time, with 6 minutes remaining on the clock. So, anybody else on our lap? Let's have a look through.
Mikola marginally up in the middle sector. Marginally up, 5,000 as we come through turns 9 into turn 10 and 11 now, breaking down in towards turn 12. Underneath the hotel section, the beautiful scenery here in Abu Dhabi as we come through the final sector. And, of course, now the penultimate corner, a lot wider than what it used to be, allows the drivers to take more speed through that corner than previous games. But to the line comes Mikola up into P6. It was a 10th improvement in the final sector.
It's not bad. That's a pretty hefty lap time and a good improvement. So let's see if he could potentially improve one more time, if they can make it into the pit lane in the nick of time with 5 minutes remaining.
Kagakowski is currently on a lap up in the first sector. Just coming through turn 5 now. DRS wide open on the run down into the chicane of 6 and 7. I believe the brake marker board that is missing on the run into turn 6 is definitely catching a few people out, because we are seeing a couple of drivers go a little bit deep in and not get the ideal line.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Obviously, because that brake board is gone. Yeah, they are braking a little bit deep than they usually would, so that is a slight disadvantage for some people if they rely on that braking board. But he's a 2 tenths up in Sector 2, so he is definitely on a flyer. He's pushing the limits, he's pushing as hard as he can. If he finds all the time in Sector 3, he could go to the top of the leaderboard. What do you say?
Absolutely, and it's looking like a very smooth final sector right now, so he's looking to go ahead of Ryder right here, but will he get ahead of Luke and Covers coming through the final corner? A little bit of a rear end snap on him, but he's made it work as he crosses the line, and it's P3 for Kagakowski.
Well, there you have it. He was definitely pushing, and didn't push enough for pole position, but that's still a decent position, P3 so far. There are some drivers that are getting marginally close, and in one way, it's a little bit scary. But obviously, GT10 now, coming around turn number 16, about to start their lap, but they have invalidated and gone very, very wide, and
that is not what you want to do, but he's going to get himself disqualified now.
That was interesting. I don't know if someone will have to look into that. Hopefully not. But that was on the I think that was on the fine lines, shall we say, as Nam is now starting the lap time. Now down in P12. They've done a 133.2. We definitely know they're not that slow, but they have gone very, very wide at turn 1, so that could probably mean they're going to back off. Hopefully they have enough fuel and they'll go again. But some drivers are definitely struggling.
So obviously, as you mentioned already, that this is of course no assist, and obviously I used to race quite a bit no assist. I can tell you right now, when you don't have the practice time coming in and you're relying on the brake marker boards, them being taken out is the biggest annoyance in any race condition, even qualifying, because you are trying to push it as maximum as possible, but a brake marker board's gone and you haven't done the practice to pick out a solid brake reference, then you're in trouble.
Indeed you are, and yeah, It's definitely a struggle, like you said, because I've even tried with no assists. We're trying to break out a corner, and with racing line off, yeah, let's not go. Let's say I just keep going off the track and cutting every single corner, literally everywhere. I just can't. I have to have. If I don't have racing line on, I have no idea where I'm going. But here comes Nam again, currently in P12. And here they go again for their final attempt to do a final push lap. Are they going to be able to improve? We would absolutely love to see them improve up the grid into a decent position. So let's see what happens.
Oh, it's an invalidation.
and
He
they
just
have
took too much for the
invalidated-
curb.
Oh no.
I think he's got enough time to back off and go again, but this
he got
is
the
not good
fuel?
for Nam.
Has he got the fuel though? That's the thing. Has he got the fuel to do it? That's the issue. That's the scary part now.
I think what Nam has probably done for the end of the session is fueled up so he can do a quick lap, a cool down lap, and then another quick lap at the end.
You know what? That is actually a pretty smart move. That is a pretty smart move. I would do that myself. That's what I would do if I was in a qualifying session at that time. I'd just fuel up a lot and then just cool down lap, quick lap, cool down lap, quick lap. But hopefully,
big improvements for Janel in the middle sector, 8 tenths up. As Janel now coming through the final sector, got a little bit of traffic ahead of him. He's going to hope these cars get out of the way. And fortunately for him, they do get out of the way. A little bit hairy, but they're in the middle sector and in the final sector with the Red Bull. But he's going to come through now, penultimate corner. Nice and smooth. Now into the final corner. Breaks down, 4th gear on the exit. And now to the line. And it's up to P4 for Janel.
there we go. There we go. That is his qualifying done and dusted. Can anybody else find any more lap time? Kgat on an out lap. Oh, they're just about to cross the line with 1 second to go to start their final lap. The Haas crosses the line, and they do improve on position, I believe. They went purple in the last sector, so I think they improved on their lap time.
Cross the line, P9.
Yeah.
We got the Mercedes pairing of Luke Thomason and Yannick to the line. Thomason, I don't think improved on his time. Yannick now coming down in P11. What's he going to do as he goes up into P6?
What can the CPI driver do down in P number 8 at the moment? Are they going to find any more lap time to hopefully bring themselves up the grid order? Let's find out and see what happens. It's about to cross the line now. And they go to P7 at 128.8. More drivers now crossing the line. And Boyer about to cross the line now. They got to P9. All eyes are on Nam.
Now.
All eyes are on Nam. Had a very tough qualifying, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. Realistically, Nam needs this lap because without it, I don't think EXT get through. And he's coming through the penultimate corner now. So much pressure on the EXT driver as he comes through the final corner. Keeps it valid this time around. And it's up to P12 for Nam. It's still back of the pack, but it's an improved lap time. And it does give EXT an opportunity.
It does. It does indeed. We've got someone saying in the chat, what is the punishment for slip streaming? And that's a very good thing, because obviously towing and slipstreaming I don't believe is allowed. Not too sure. Yeah, I believe it's not allowed. So I'm not too sure what the punishment is, because I don't work on the steward side of things. But there would be a punishment for it if you have obviously video evidence of it happening or somewhat like that. If that makes sense for you, Dan. But no, there you are. That is your qualifying lobby 1 session done and dusted, and everybody is within a second, which is lovely to see, as we always have to see here at Ultimate Masters. Now it's going to be on to lobby 2. Who are your chances high for then, Mike, for this lobby 1? Who are you hoping might get through?
Well, I think OP have managed to do the job on that to get through. I think CPI as well. The Williams playing the CPI, I think have done enough. The WOR team in the Mercedes also, I think, have done a very good job as well to get through. It's all going to be about this second lobby now, but as it currently stands, I think OP looking good, CPI looking good, WR looking good. It's going to be interesting because I think Janel's time at the end, as obviously, I mean, with George Hansen down in 11th there with a 22 flat, it's looking a little bit sketchy if the other teams in the lobby 2 have that one driver who can kind of match Janel. But it was a decent shot there from the Kazim racing team.
It was indeed, it was a very interesting and quite exciting qualifying session, like seeing all the drivers go around the track as many times as they possibly can at the fastest lap time, and some drivers actually getting caught out by traffic, or some reports that there was slipstreaming going on. As we all know, that's obviously not allowed, and obviously that would have hopefully, that should have been stated within the rules of how the qualifying data session works. But now I believe we move on to lobby number 2, as lobby 1 is done and dusted, which is pretty exciting. And I'll tell you what, me and Mike are very, very, very excited for some more racing action here, for Ultimate Masters, shall we say. Anybody in the chat have any expectations, or do they have any surprises for us, shall I say? Like, do you have any drivers that are on the way now going to be racing around? Do you think they have what it takes to maybe qualify for tonight's season, or be on the top step, if that somewhat makes sense? Maybe do let me know in the chat. I would love to hear your comments and suggestions as always. And Rita as well, good evening, how are you, buddy? Welcome on into the stream.
I'll tell you what, though, lobby 2 is going to be interesting. Of course, Neverlast Racing going to be in lobby 2. IRT International Racing Team going to be in it. X Esports going to be in it. I believe G League's in it, and TFR in it, as well as ET8. So some very good teams in lobby 2 as well. So
X Esports,
as I said
again.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, that with EXT and of course for Kazian as well, the drivers obviously one getting into the 20, setting a good time with for Janel for Kazian Racing, obviously doing a 21.6, and his teammate down in 11th on the 22 flat. It opens the door for them to potentially see the exit here tonight. But in terms of the teams, I think, I'm trying to think off the top of my head now. So obviously, I believe we got 12 teams competing in total, haven't we, tonight?
Yes, that is correct, yes.
So, OP 100% through, barring any post-race penalties or anything. Same with WOR, same with CPI. And I believe that the lap times that were done by Janel and George Hansen is enough to put them ahead of both GT10 and EXT. So it's both of those teams that are on the bubble in terms of this lobby 2.
Oh, this could get quite intense. It could get quite scary, and the last mares could rumble in, shall we say. But while lobby 2 is getting set up and ready in the background, we're going to have a quick short break, and then once we're back, we'll return to some more racing qualifying action. So, guys, see you in a few.
They been on their ass, bitch, I'm on the rail. I wrap it, I bag it, I pack it for sale. Got feeling on speed out, hit me to chill. I give it a thrill, I put it on film. Niggas facade, get applaud, that ain't real. Come to my section and flex, we can tell. I gotta show it, she dipping them nails. I'm flipping my L's, I know they can tell. I did it too major, they hit me for favors. Been him since the cable was cut in the cradle. What's up, only right that I do it. Colossal until I'm a boss, so they want me to fail. Look, we prevail. Tell them to point out who said it, they run it. Bitch, I'm on your tail. Know that they talking, they telling them tales. It's know how to tell, that shit for the sale.
Honestly, I know it's hard to believe, but you have to trust me. It's got maximum taste and zero sugar.
Stop playing games, wooden boy.
No, I'm a real boy.
Pepsi Max. Maximum taste, zero sugar. Try and believe.
What do you see here? Maybe history, or maybe it's the future.
Amarti mi consola. Amami ancora. Fallo dolcemente. Un anno, un mese, un'ora.
Tonali plug-in hybrid, a new charge of sportiness.
Well, there we are then. Lovely timing, and instead of the webcams, we're straight into the qualifying session. Once again, 12 cars on the grids, and I must say, that lobby one was looking absolutely insane. But the big question is, are any other teams that are in the dropout zone going to be able, would you say, Mike, to do any better at all? You know, like obviously with... I think it's EXT are in the danger zone with the Red Bulls, and can they improve and succeed through?
Well, this is where it's all going to come down to the luck of the draw for EXT and, of course, GT10 as well. Both of those teams are in the danger zone, being the bottom two teams from Lobby 1. I believe EXT, obviously, one of their drivers did a 21.8 and the other did a 22.1. And of course, the GT10 drivers, both of those drivers did a 21.9. So that's the benchmark for these drivers to try and eclipse here tonight.
Well, let's see if they can succeed that benchmark and help their Lobby 1 drivers succeed through into the season for Ultimate Masters. But that all comes down to the wire. Like Mike said, now you got to put the best lap time in. No mistakes, no costly errors can happen. Hopefully no one this time will take out the braking board so drivers know where they need to brake. The track is not as busy as I thought it would be busy, you know. Some of these drivers building gaps, not rushing, getting their tyres into temps, burning the fuel that they need to burn, setting a lap time and seeing how well they can do. So let's go on board with, I believe it's Pyro. Hopefully that's how you say the name. I believe so. Fingers crossed. If not, please. I'm not very good with names. All I will say. That's my excuse. So on the exit, then coming up to numbers number 15 and then 16, the Ferrari. Then getting ready to start a lap time. Here he goes. It's time to see what he can do around Abu Dhabi for his first lap time. What is the benchmark going to be on the exit then of turn number 1? Oh, he was very, very close on track limits, and I say that he's gone off. He has gone off completely, and probably his time done and dusted, but I believe he is still pushing, and may see what kind of time we can produce. But let's go on board with one of the Aston Martins now. NLR. Let's see how they do. Down to the hairpin.
Coming down into the hairpin right now, breaking down third gear, the gear of choice for Kiki, short shifting up into fourth on the exit, DRS wide open now. And it's so important for these guys to get a very good benchmark time in early on. So for Pyro, it is definitely going to be an issue that he went that deep into turn 1.
110%. That's not what you want to see. Trying to set your first lap time on a fresh set of tyres. The first set of tyres is soft compound, and making a costly error like that is definitely not ideal. But let's see what Kiki can do then. In the Aston Martin, he's gone purple in 1 and 2, and possibly going to be 3 after that Ferrari driver made that costly error. And it seems they have backed off. I believe they have. And they're just preparing to do one more lap. Fingers crossed. If not, they're going straight back into the pit lane. Let's see what Kiki can do then in the Aston Martin. As he comes up to turn number 16 now. The final turn of the Abu Dhabi. Oh, bit of an aggressive power put to the floor there. It's a 121.6. That is the benchmark. Can anybody beat it? Can the McLaren try and take it? No, he can't. He goes P2 at 121.7. Then you got Boom in the Ferrari. A 122.0, and then Kasabi in the Mercedes a 122.0 as well. So drivers quite close with gap wise, but
NLR through.
Yeah, NLR at the moment are seemingly very, very good, shall I say, for where they are at the moment. And that gap is 11 thousandths of a second. That is pretty close, I'd say. I'll tell you now, that is pretty close. As Jesler has invalidated, Paul has invalidated, and the Red Bull in P10 is now leaving the pit lane. Everybody else setting a lap time, getting on with it, and Zem, shall I say, on a lap right now, on the exit there of 5, down to turn 6, halfway through on the back straight with DRS wide open and probably smashing that ERS button as well. We want to get very close to track limits here at turns number 6 and 7. You want to get a decent exit. If you get it all wrong, your back end will just completely snap out of position and you'll just be sliding left, right and centre, which obviously isn't ideal. DRS once again down to turn number 9. This lovely hairpin section, and he has gone purple in sector 2, but that could also be a game glitch. That could be his first lap. He's trying to attempt. We don't know because timings are just broken on spectator's view, as me and Mike know that very, very well because it's Codemasters at the end of the day. But on the way then to 15 now, and then 16 coming across the start and finish very, very, very shortly. What's it going to be? It's possibly going to be a 121.6. Top 3. Very, very close. No room for errors.
I can confirm right now that both GL and NLR set times that are quicker than both of the EXT drivers and GT10 drivers. So they are already through, to my knowledge. Obviously, ET8 Azim doing that lap time. It essentially means that obviously he's kind of level right now with Yanel, just marginally quicker than Yanel for his lap time. And of course, Yanel, part of the Kazim team, also managed to make it through. So as long as Paul is able to get a lap time on the board that is better than a 22 22.2, then ET8 will be through as well.
Well, let's see what they can do. Let's hope for the best, shall we? Let's hope for the best. And Pyro in the Ferrari down in P9, not able to set a lap time just yet after having that costly error on their first push lap. They're currently on a lap, and they just exited turn number 7 down to turn number 9, where they're going to find themselves in a hairpin section. And of course, DRS at the moment, and then it closes and runs away, and we won't see it again till the exit at turn 5. But now in sector 3, the tricky couple of corners now where you need to get it right, because if you miss one braking zone, you're either going straight on, or you're for example, down into turn number 12. that massive back end loss has lost him a few seconds, at least. A few thousandths or seconds. Whatever it is, he's able to cross the line. It's probably going to be in the 122s, and it is. That's cost him a lot of time at 122.5 after that back end loss, which isn't ideal. And on board with K now. Currently down in P9, not to set a lap time. Let's see if they could be competitive on the grid as they come round to turn number 16, the final corner of Abu Dhabi. Oh, they get it all squiggly as well. They do a 123.1. Drivers struggling to get lap times all together. Crazy to see. What is going on? I'm not too sure. Jesla then in the Mercedes. They are pushing quite hard for their first lap time and to see what kind of benchmark they can do. I've been on board with them throughout the hairpin, I believe, of turn number 9, and they were very, very close on track limits. Once again, they're getting right on that white line to use as much of the track as they possibly can. So up to 15 and then 16, and then start and finish, they get a better exit. Momentum's there, up to P5 at 121.7.
Yep, 21.7 for Jesla, and of course a 22 flat for Sabi, and just going to compare that. Obviously, I think they are just ahead of the GT10 drivers, and of course they are ahead of the EXT drivers. So X Esports are provisionally through right now. IRT at the moment are not, and so is TFR. So those two teams are the teams to keep an eye on now.
Yeah. So it is quite intense, and some teams could be on the back foot right now, but you never know. Some people do say, even though you might be on the back foot in qualifying, they could set the lap time of dreams that gets them through. So they need that luck. 8 minutes to go. They need that luck. They need that luck to kick in. That luck needs to come, like I said, within 8 minutes. If it doesn't, then unfortunately, they might be in the dropout zone.
Yeah, and right now for IRT, I mean, they need Pyro to improve on his lap time. Obviously, TFR, we got Ismail currently yet to set a lap time. And of course, K on a 23.1 needs a big improvement on his second run. And of course, we got ET8 Paul yet to set a lap time for the ET8 team. So definitely these teams at the bottom, IRT, TFR, and of course we're waiting to see what kind of lap time Paul can do. They are the ones that potentially could offer a bit of salvation for EXT and of course GT10.
Yes, it's true indeed. And I was on board with the Aston Martin who was in P3, and unfortunately on the exit there, I believe that's going to be turn number 14. They haven't validated, and they're back into the pit lane to get a fresh set of tyres on and crack on with another lap time. But looking elsewhere on the grid, I believe Pyro is on an outlap. His teammate is coming into the pit lane. Paul is about to start a lap very, very shortly, so we might go on board with Paul and see if they could potentially get a decent benchmark in and see what they can do. So Mike, do you want to take us away with Paul?
Yep, Paul starting his flying lap now, heading down in towards turn number 1. Braking just before the black box on the right hand side of the track here as we come through turn number 2 and number 3. Maximum commitment, foot to the floor, all the way in 6th gear. And now the first sector split, 17.1 as we head down into turn number 5 at the hairpin, where of course in real life we saw the infamous lunge from Verstappen on Hamilton as a real life reference. But obviously this is a qualifying session. As we got Paul now with DRS wide open on the run down into the chicane, and he's using all of the track possible as Gill goes on to provisional pole with a 21.5 as Paul now with the second bite of DRS heading down in towards turn number 9. The sweeping left-hander, and this is where you need the back end to really stick on the car as you try to get on the power to get the best run possible out of this corner. Very well done from Paul through 10 and 11 now, breaking down into turn number 12, and very cool, calm, collected now through 13 and 14. Very easy to drift, just a little bit wide and invalidate here, but Paul doing very well. into the penultimate corner now. Maximum commitment, maximum attack now into the final corner. Very smoothly done from Paul to the line, and it's going to be a 21.7, which of course puts ET8 through to the top 10 now. So it is all on IRT and TFR.
Are they going to be able to do it? That's the scary bit. That's where we're going to find out. Because I'll tell you, Paul, full commitment there on 15. I thought he'd actually invalidated on his lap time, but somehow, he managed to keep it out of the invalidation zone, which is pretty mighty and pretty impressive. So I believe K down in P12 right now is on a lap, and they're only 75 thousandths of a second up, which isn't ideal. They need a lot more time, and they need to find it in Sector 3. Hopefully their setup balance is better in Sector 3, because if they don't find much time, they might be done. They might be finished with qualifying.
Yeah, we got K now coming for the penultimate corner. Obviously for TFR, and he's bailed out into the pit lane. And that is not what you want to see this late into qualifying. 4.5 minutes to go in the session. Isabel also is on an invalid run as well. Pyro did improve on his lap time, but it's a 22.1, which is not enough. They're still behind GT10 by around 0.2 of a second. And of course, they are also behind EXT. Obviously, EXT named a 22.1, so Pyro just marginally off of him. And of course, his teammate Bompier on a 21.9. Obviously, Lewis did a 21.8. So they're about, I want to say, close to 0.2 off of the EXT pairing. So it's looking dangerous for IRT and of course TFR here.
It is. It's looking very, very dangerous, and I'm getting a bit scared, shall I say, as there's only 3 minutes and 30 seconds to go of qualifying, which means the track is going to get very, very busy. And if any driver, and I mean any driver, that makes a marginal error, they're done. They're finished. That is it. It's qualifying done. 100%.
Yep.
So,
and as it currently stands, the two teams in the drop zone to not get through to the top 10 is, of course, IRT and TFR currently. Obviously, EXT 121.858, and of course 122.117 with the lap times from the EXT drivers, and of course the GT10 drivers, both of them in the 121.9s. So, I mean, IRT, they need to find a bit of time here. I think 0.2 will about do it for them and get them through, but obviously they also have to make sure they out-qualify TFR as well. So they have to worry about both for that. And of course, it's going to be intriguing. Obviously, we got two teams on the bubble here. We got two teams on the bubble from Lobby 1 as well. All eyes on the final runs here, as both IRT drivers are out on the out laps and both TFR drivers are still in the pit lane.
oh, this could get quite interesting now, because if you leave too late before the pit lane, you could miss your qualifying run time. But here goes Boom on his final lap, down in P9. Is he going to be able to improve? He's had a very good turn 1, down to the little S section now, on the run, down to turn number 5, where you want to get a very good exit here and go a little bit wide to keep that momentum going. Of course, he's going to have DRS enabled now, with the ERS, smashing it as much as he can and draining as much as he can in the highest gears possible, getting very, very close to that line. And I thought it went a little bit deep there, but I'm not too sure. I think he managed to get the car under control. I think he lost a little bit of time there, potentially, on the exit of 7, down to turn number 9 now. And DRS once again enabled. Traffic is in the way, but they are moving out the way, and he's 0.2 up on his lap time at the moment. If he gets this lap time done, that'd be insane. But look at the traffic up ahead. That traffic needs to go. It needs to move. That McLaren up ahead of the Alpine, they're in the way. They need to move. Because here comes a Ferrari, and luckily, I don't think he's lost too much time trying to avoid that traffic. And I think those two drivers did their very, very absolute best. And he's invalidated! Right on the line of 16 before the start and finish. He invalidates on his lap time. And boom! Won't be booming anymore because that is defeat. That is him not improving on his position. So now it's up for grabs. Anybody on the track could knock the Ferraris down a little bit more, and that could hinder the
Pyro's on a bad lap.
qualifying.
He's just made a big mistake. IRT, I think they're done. I think IRT are potentially done and out here because Pyro, big mistake into the chicane. Look at that, 1.9 seconds off his last lap time. IRT, I think, are out.
Well, we'll have to see what the results are after this, but this is getting quite intense, and I told you this would be a crazy end to the second lobby we're having here right now, as the Mercedes and P6 can't improve. Only so many seconds down on their lap time, but they stay P6. His teammate goes straight into the pit lane. Paul is on a flyer now. He's a 10th up on his time. Could this really, really, really help his team out, as Azem does a 1:21.2, and I believe, isn't that the fast lap time we saw? Is that quicker than Lobby 1?
Yeah.
That is. So they are definitely pushing on the track right now, as Paul's about to cross the line. What's it going to be for him? It's P6, a 1:21.6. McLaren's now crossing the line. It's Gill, and he doesn't improve on his lap time. Can the Red Bulls spoil the party?
TFR to the line, and of course, it's a 22.3, and oh no, both TFR and IRT are out.
Well, now it gets interesting.
I just want to obviously bring up what how close it was in the end, because of course Bompier did improve by over 0.2 of a second. And well, he did cross the line. There was going to be a 21.7, as I'm just going to quickly grab a screenshot of that so I can compare the lap times. Yeah, in terms of the lap times, I think if Bompier did not get that invalidation at the end, I think they would have just sneaked in ahead of EXT. So
yeah,
that invalidation cost them massively.
It did indeed. It did indeed. But now here's the exciting bit. Who's gotten through? We now wait on VJ to finalize. Who are you thinking, Mike? I can see you grinning in the background. You seem quite excited.
Well, I mean, I've already done the math, so I already know. Mathematic Mikey's always on it. Come on now.
That is true. You are the genius behind the scenes. You know, like, you know, when I ask you an equation or a question, you've always got the answer, and 9 times out of 10, it's always correct. So maybe you are the genius. Who knows?
I wouldn't go that far. I do play a lot of Sudoku though.
There we are. See, there we are. We're one step
Brain
further.
power.
Exactly, brain power indeed. But no, that was an interesting lobby, because from lobby 1, they were rushing. In my opinion, lobby 1 were rushing a bit to get lap times in, overtaking, trying to be the first one to get a lap time in. But lobby 2 just seemed a bit, you know, chill, just really chill.
Yeah, lobby 2 was a lot calmer than lobby 1, and of course, in terms of lobby 1, obviously one thing we do have to mention is, of course, the blocking incidents as well, and whether or not that could play a factor in any post-race penalties, which of course potentially would be time added on to what they have. Obviously, provisionally right now, I do believe it is IRT and of course TFR who are out, but if any of those post-race penalties come into play for lobby 1, obviously Janel being a big one, who of course got caught out by the by holding up, I believe it was, I think it was Nam potentially.
Yes.
If that goes through and Janel gets a time penalty added on, that of course would put IRT through. So that's what we have to keep an eye on.
That is very true. And yeah, we'll just wait for post-race interviews, not post-race interviews, post-race reports to be sorted. So obviously you'll get provisional results that will be done for the announcement, and then if there's reports that need to be done, they'll then be sorted, and then the order could be rechanged. So make sure you keep an eye on the Discord and on the Twitter if anything does get updated or get changed. But right now, I believe we're just waiting on VJ. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we're just playing the good old waiting game of what the results could be for the qualifying session data. But
Yeah,
all
absolutely.
I'll say to everyone who's participated today, you've all been awesome. You've put a lot of hard and dedication into this. So all I will say is may the best team get in, and if you don't get in, don't doubt yourself, because there's always another opportunity to obviously reapply for season 4. But if you don't get in, you still made your team proud. And I know Mike would agree with me. Like you came on here and you've gone ahead and you made your team proud. You've stepped up another level. But
And
it's
there we
up
go.
by
It's in the
tears.
it's in the chat right now. We do have the provisional lineups.
Oh.
If we do you want to take us through that, or would you like me to?
You know what, Mike? Over to you. Stage is yours.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen. So the team that does top the times is, of course, OP, and they top the time by just under a tenth of a second to ET8, who is provisionally in second place. GL are currently provisionally in P3 with WOR in P4. Neverlast Racing in P5 with CPI Esports in P6. Seventh place goes the way of X Esports in P7. It says JR in P8. I'm guessing Kazim and JR is the same team, but just a different name that was put forward, perhaps. But they are currently in P8. GT10 qualify in P9. Of course, they were amongst the teams under Fred coming into the second lobby, but they get through. And in P10, the final team making it through is, of course, the EXT Esports team. And, of course, they make it through by a tenth and a half ahead of IRT. So that invalidation at the end from Bumpye was enough, would have been enough to get them through, I think. And, of course, TFR at the back, I mean, they were 6 tenths off of IRT in the end, and of course I think 8 tenths off of EXT. So yeah, a bit of a sour one for the TFR team, but IRT also missing out, and we do have our top 10, but of course these are provisional, and you never know if any post-race inquiries come in, especially when it comes to potentially blocking, and of course any
Slipstreaming,
malicious track in question.
Yes, that is very, very true. So, for example, say I was racing Mike on the track and we were doing the qualifying data, and just say I came across and thought, oh, that team's doing really well, and say I took Mike out on purpose. That'd then obviously be a report, obviously, but like Mike said, these are provisional. But yeah,
which would never happen because I'm a terrible driver and I'll take myself out anyway.
Yeah, exactly the same here. I always have a good start, and then towards the end, I just bin it. But yeah, it's just an absolute mess. But yes, those are your qualified teams. All provisional results though. So like Mike said, they can change. Like I always say, make sure to check the Discord, keep up to date on that, and also keep up to date on the Twitter as well. Hit that follow button so you keep up also with the tweets that happen here at Ultimate Masters. And I'm guessing that's everything. Are we all done for tonight?
I mean, I think, we could.
We could
potentially, show my little something for season 3.
I mean, we could, couldn't we? I mean, there's no harm in it.
There's absolutely no harm whatsoever. I'm sure we could.
You know what? Let's let's switch over to that screen then, shall we? And how
Absolutely.
nice does that look to you, Mike?
Now that is El Calendar right there.
It looks quite nice, to be honest. You know, it looks very, very spicy, shall I say? Very spicy with a few of my favorite tracks on there, and some of those tracks, especially being Australia, league racing around Australia. Interesting.
I mean, I can't lie. For me, my favorite track is Suzuka, which is, of course, the season finale. So I'm very excited for that one. And looking at some notable races in it as well. Obviously, Singapore, a very good track for racing. Very interesting in terms of the walls and that. Obviously, you got Silverstone. Everyone knows that track like the back of their hand. Qatar, where fuel is definitely going to be the major issue for that circuit. And honestly, a big one. Azerbaijan, the street circuit, the infamous castle section. How many people are going to survive that, especially with no line, no assist, one lockup, and that could be your race over?
That is true. So what we're going to expect? A lot of crazy racing. And just so you guys know as well, these are different, or this is going to be a slightly different season. So obviously, every week at Season 2, there'll be a race. Every single week. But of course, the way it works now, if I'm reading it from my mind correctly, is next week we'll have the first round, which obviously would be Austria, and then the second round. But the second round wouldn't happen till a week later.
Yeah,
I'm guessing that's the best way I could put it.
Yeah, so for everyone wondering, it will alternate back and forth each week between Division 1 and Division 2. So obviously next week we'll get the season opener for Division 1. The following week will be the season opener for Division 2. Then we'll be back for round 2 in Division 1, then vice versa then on the round 2 for Division 2. And it'll keep going back and forth in that fashion until the 7th of May, where of course will be the season finale in Division 1, and of course 1 week later we'll have the season finale for Division 2.
So totally not confusing whatsoever, but that's
every
what's gonna
fortnight.
happen.
Every fortnight.
Hopefully we've tried our best to describe and give you the best description as possible. But Mike, I guess that we are done for this evening.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, considering the teams that have gone in and how close the times were amongst all these teams, I am very excited for the season opener next week in Austria.
Same here. I'm very excited myself. I cannot wait for what's going to happen in Austria. And that's going to be next week, which is crazier thinking that. So I say we wrap it up there. So from me, Mr. Flynn, that is everything done and dusted for me today. Mike, what about yourself?
Yep, likewise for me. Thank you to everyone who has tuned in, obviously for the support in the chat for the teams you are supporting, and of course showing love to the commentators as well. But until next week, guys, it is goodbye.
Yes, bye-bye, guys. Take care.